When you walk into a room, a college lecture hall, a gym, a networking event, and suddenly feel a wave of intense self-consciousness, you're experiencing what psychologists call the spotlight effect. It's an egocentric bias where you overstate how much other people are noticing your appearance, behavior, or mistakes. But here is the irony. Everyone else in that room is also trapped in their own spotlight effect. They aren't watching you. They're too busy wondering if you're watching them. The intense desire to maintain your aura or look effortlessly cool is a textbook case of impression management. You aren't displaying genuine confidence. You are deploying a protective, psychological armor. When you're terrified of being bad at something, your ego creates a defense mechanism. It convinces you that you're naturally too gifted to be seen struggling. So, instead of executing, you withdraw into detailed, elaborate daydreams where you are already the master. This creates a highly destructive psychological pattern known as self-handicapping. The self-handicapping loop. If you never try, you can never technically fail. If you stay home, avoid the challenge, or sit silently in the back of the room, your ego gets to tell a comforting lie. I could have one, I just chose not to play. If you're between the ages of 18 and 24, your brain's prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for long-term planning, risk assessment, and emotional regulation, is still completing its development. At this exact stage in life, the fear of social exclusion feels like a literal threat to your survival. Because of this, you look at your peers who are already ahead of you, and your brain interprets the gap in skill as a permanent status defect. You think, if I try and look stupid, I'll lose my social standing. But you have mathematically miscalculated. Your perceived prestige is an illusion. You're protecting a $0 asset. By prioritizing an artificial reputation over skill acquisition, you're actively choosing a trajectory that leads straight to mediocrity. If you never allow yourself to be a clumsy beginner, you guarantee that you will remain an permanent amateur. The people who actually achieve high-level success do not have a magical immunity to embarrassment. They simply have a different relationship with cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort of holding two conflicting beliefs. When an average person fails, their brain screams, I failed, therefore I am dumb. When a high performer fails, their brain states, I failed, therefore I just gathered data on what doesn't work. Consider how human beings actually achieve monumental things through the lens of psychological adaptation. The law of exposure therapy. Consider the early aviation pioneers or elite inventors. They didn't succeed by being fearless. They succeeded through systematic desensitization. Every public crash, every burned-out filament, and every rejected proposal forced their brains to adapt to social discomfort until the fear of looking foolish completely lost its power over them. The deliberate practice framework. Psychological research shows that elite performance is built entirely on operating at the edge of your current capability, a zone where mistakes are literally mandatory. If you look smooth doing something, you are practicing things you already know. You aren't growing. You are just performing. When you feel the sting of shame or think people are looking down on you, you need to realize that the harsh voice you hear isn't coming from the crowd. It is an internal projection. You have set an unrealistic, perfectionist expectation that you should bypass the messy, uncoordinated learning phase entirely. No one is coming to save your reputation, and no one is thinking about your mistakes 5 minutes after they happen. The next time you feel the urge to retreat into a daydream because reality feels too clumsy, remember the psychological tax of inaction. Daydreams offer cheap, unearned dopamine. Real life requires surviving the awkward, frustrating, and deeply uncool phase of building actual competence. Drop the fake aura. Accept the reality of being bad at things until you're good at them.